Where'd the sun go?
Perfect atmos for witches and warlocks, don't you reckon?
Just as long as there's only a mere mortal in there.
I guess you could call Adam Quinn that. What a place for him to end up.
Adam Quinn, the singer?
Yeah, that's the one. I had one of his records once. He wasn't bad for early 80s rock.
Oh, he was huge when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been that huge. I've never heard of him. What?
Steve, you couldn't pick up a magazine without seeing him.
Oh, look, I better cover this fire before Fisk gets on my back about it.
What fire?
In the house. Girl's room was burned out.
What, just the bedroom?
Well, it's hard to put it down to a coincidence. Got a dead man in the shed, room burned out in the house. Did he tell you who he was?
Yeah.
Yeah, Adam Quinn.
Yeah, Mr. Rock and Roll. Dropped out, 10 years ago. Too much booze and drugs, wasn't he?
I've never heard of him. Whoa, now I see what Dee meant.
Looks like he's been laid out on an altar.
Yep, for about a week, I'd say.
Yeah, it's a week of having the crime scene trampled over. I mean, the whole area is contaminated, fairly useless, really.
The girls cleaned the corpse daily. Every day.
It's a pity they didn't clean up some of this chook poo as well.
And ruin a good crime scene. At least there's no spider webs.
Looks like this is what killed him. 38 calibre, 5-shot. Now, it has been cleaned, unfortunately, so there are no prints. It's also been oiled.
It could be gunpowder marks. It's a bit hard to tell with this level of decomposition, but it looks like the gun was pretty close to the entrance wound.
Exit wound?
Oh, yeah, the bullet came out all right. There's seepage, but of course the girls cleaned the wound.
Yes. Thank you, Inspector.
Do you think he was shot in here?
Yeah, shot where he lay by the looks of it. I mean, it's not in perfect alignment, but body has been moved.
Suicide?
Well, there are indications, but I will know more when I've done my measurements.
There's no blood on the robe. Must have been put on after death.
Born to the purple, eh, son? What? Purple robes. Worn distinctively by persons of high rank.
Got it. My slug.
Have you got the burnt mattresses, Dee?
Yep, all finished. See ya. So 3 mattresses on the floorboards, nothing else in there?
No.
It's hardly the lap of luxury, is it? The fire happened a week ago, the day Quinn died.
Yes, well, apparently, yes.
Any idea how it started?
Well, I'll have to run some tests on the debris, but it'll be an accelerant for sure.
So are you thinking that Quinn deliberately lit the fire to kill the girls and then shot himself?
Well, it is looking that way, yeah.
Well, it's lucky we're not investigating 4 deaths. So obviously not everyone was forced to live in penury.
No.
Oh, must have been Quinn's bedroom. Bit dated, but expensive.
Yeah. He certainly didn't share his comforts with the girls. They'll be the mother, Rachel. No sign of her yet.
She must have shared the room with Quinn. Where's the girl's father?
As far as the local police know, the girls have 3 different fathers. Drifters, came to work the farm, then moved on. Quinn came after that. He was the only man that lasted more than a year. You're saying this guy was big time, right?
Oh, yeah, huge. Gold records, awards.
There's no memorabilia.
I'm Detective Vance. This is Detective Hayden from Homicide. We need to ask you a few questions, and perhaps you can tell us who's who. I'm Bliss Bridie, the eldest. This is Sky. And this is Astral, the youngest.
And you are?
Oh, Jonathan Stoller. Yeah, I own the property next door. I called the police.
Okay, if you like to wait outside, sir, we'll ask you some questions later.
Why?
Sergeant.
us where your mother is.
Out.
And when will she be back?
We don't know.
What was your relationship with Adam Quinn?
He came to live with us.
8 years ago, he promised he'd never leave us.
And that he couldn't die.
Astral should have waited.
Because Adam said he would come back.
But he was taking too long.
You were the ones that found the body.
We didn't move him.
We just cleaned him and put him in his favourite robe. We did what he would have wanted.
And he would have wanted us to wait for him to come back.
Cheers.
I think we need to separate them.
Yeah, I'll tell the sergeant we need to talk to them one at a time.
Come and sit down over here, Astral, please. Astral, we need to find your mother so we can talk to her.
She's beautiful, isn't she?
When did your mother go out?
Sunday.
Today's Sunday.
Last Sunday.
A week ago.
The day Adam Quinn died. It's a beautiful portrait. Who did it?
My mother. It's a self-portrait.
Is it a good likeness?
Yes. It's like she's in this room with us.
Do you know where she went?
Just out.
Astral, she's been gone a week. You're not worried about her?
She never leaves us alone for long.
Tell us about Adam Quinn. Where did he fit into your lives?
We're his family. He's very good to us.
He's very good to us. He loves us.
The day Adam died, did anyone come to the house? A stranger or someone you knew?
No one visits the haven. It's our retreat. Outsiders never come here.
Bliss, it looks like Adam died of a gunshot wound to the head.
He said he died before. Many times. Said he would rise again. Astral should have waited. Mother always said we should do as Adam wanted.
Did you hear the gunshot?
No. I was sleeping.
When you found the body, did one of you touch the gun?
Oh, yes. We knew it had to be cleaned after it was used. We knew Adam would want to find everything perfect when he woke up.
What happened the day Adam died?
Mother was out.
There was no moon and a heavy mist started to settle around the house. Adam gave us something to drink from one of the bottles he keeps in his room. None of us had ever had it before, and we didn't like it, but he told us to drink it. We always did everything Adam told us. We had a whole cup full each. Made us feel dizzy and sick, so we went to bed.
And then what happened, Sky?
I woke up because I wanted to be sick and the room was filled with smoke. I woke Astral and Bliss and we put the fire out. And then we waited for Mother and Adam, but no one came. Then in the morning, we found him.
Why didn't you go for help?
They wouldn't be allowed. Mother always wanted us to do everything Adam wanted. Astral has no patience. She has no faith. She should have waited.
Sorry, ma'am. Can't.
But then she is the
I
youngest.
have every right to be here. For goodness sake, I was their teacher. I'm going in. You can't stop me. I had to see if you're all right. If anything had happened to you.
It's Adam. They say he's not coming back to us.
Are you all right? badly touched.
That's okay. I'm all right. You sure you're all right? What is it?
Astral was corrected.
Adam's corrector.
Mr. Stoller, can we have a word outside, sir?
I don't think you should trust him.
So Astral took you to the body?
Yes, she was worried that Quinn had been dead for too long. I called the police.
How long have you lived next door?
Almost a year. I bought the place as a weekender. Somewhere to get away from it all, you know?
Right.
How well do you know the Bridie family?
Hardly at all. I only met Astral 6 months ago. Never met the mother. Saw Bliss and Sky a couple of times in town, but never spoke to them.
What about Adam Quinn?
Sounds to me like the guy was a raving lunatic. You know, he had the girls believing he was all powerful.
Did Astral tell you that he was abusing them?
She never admitted it, but it was pretty obvious that she was scared stiff of him. And sometimes I saw bruises on her.
If you thought that he was abusing them, why didn't you report it?
She begged me not to. Look, I did what I thought was best, all right? I did think of confronting Quinn, but Astral talked me out of it. Said that he was violent, that I'd just make things worse for the family. I even tried to talk Astral into leaving, but she wouldn't leave her mother and sisters.
Must have been hard to know someone you care about was being abused. Did you see Astral last weekend?
Oh, yeah, on the Sunday.
Did she say anything about a mother?
No.
What did you talk about?
The moon.
The moon?
Yep, Astral's mother's into all that astronomy stuff. See, they plant and harvest according to the phases of the moon or something. Astral's always going on about it. Anyway, we didn't talk for long. I had to get back to the city, catch up on some work at home.
Is there anyone who could confirm that?
No, I live alone. Hang on, we're talking about suicide, aren't we?
It's just procedure, Mr. Stoller.
Look, how long are you going to keep the girls here for?
Until after our initial interview, then they can go.
It's just that, well, it's obvious they can't stay here. I thought I'd take them back to the city. They can stay with me until, well, till their mother comes back.
If she comes back.
We'll need to know where you can be contacted, Mr. Stoller.
That man's practically a stranger, and it's pretty obvious he's not doing this out of the goodness of his heart.
Well, they're adults, Miss Henderson. They seem pretty happy to go with him.
They should be with someone who knows them, understands them.
What can you tell us about the family, Miss Henderson?
I hardly ever see them anymore. The girls used to come into town with their mother. They used to sell herbs and oils at the market. Then the mother stopped coming in about 6 months ago.
What about Adam Quinn?
Drunken sot. We all knew how much he drank. 12 bottles of gin a week he ordered. I tried to speak to him once, and Mrs. Bridie, before they took Astral out of school. I begged them not to ruin her future, not to do to her what they'd done to Bliss and Sky. He was skulking near the shed, watching. You could tell he was pulling the strings.
Were you aware that the girls were being abused?
No, that evil man. To do something like that. Well, to think all this was going on. The fire, Quinn's death, while I sat at home marking my class's test papers.
Thank you, Miss Henderson.
Thanks for your time.
She's fond of Astral.
Yeah.
Fisk.
Yeah.
Tessa, Hayden. Possibly used to start the fire in the girls' bedroom.
Can you tell where the fire started?
Yes. Well, accelerant was poured around the 3 beds and then out to the doorway. It was probably ignited from there.
Assuming that it was a murder-suicide.
Mm-hmm.
Suicides usually wait to see if their victims are dead before killing themselves, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Quinn didn't.
Too drunk?
Maybe.
Well, do you find something worth adding to your renovations, Hayden?
You find anything worth adding to the investigation, Mr. Fisk?
Oh, nothing which discounts the murder-suicide theory, no.
Yeah, he had cirrhosis of the liver. There's no other abnormalities in the organs as far as I can see.
What about blood alcohol levels?
Well, there's a strong smell of alcohol. But I'm sorry, you'll have to wait if you want an exact level.
Toots, could he still position a gun to shoot himself?
Oh, yeah. Even an extremely drunk person could do that.
Only problem with that is the bullet I dug out of the shed floor. Now, ballistics confirm that it did match the gun we found at the scene, but the bullet had fibres on it. Now, I haven't been able to identify them as yet, but the bullet did not just pass through brain matter and then into the floor. It passed through something else first.
So the fibres weren't from the cloth found under his head?
No, that was put there later.
The girls must have moved whatever was underneath him when he was shot.
Well, someone else did.
So we shouldn't rule out murder.
No.
You know he had 2 songs in the top 10 at one stage.
10 years later, he's abusing the variety girls.
Here we go.
Is this necessary? Haven't they been through enough?
We still have an unexplained death to investigate, Mr. Stoller.
Astral?
Look, you've spoken to them. You know they're not used to the outside world. And they're just as afraid of Quinn now as they were when he was alive.
They seem to have gotten used to you, Mr. Stoller. Astral?
Mr. Stoller, just one more thing. How did you meet the girls?
Astral used to walk down to the Grove, which is near my boundary gate.
Right, thanks. Astral, when you found Adam, was he lying on anything? Was there something under his head?
The floor?
Anything else? Material, cloth?
Well, we had to change his clothes. Clean him for when he came back.
Astral, did Adam ever beat your mother? Did he correct her?
I don't want to talk about it.
It's very important that we find your mother. I think you probably want to find her too.
No, I mustn't. He can read my thoughts. He knows everything.
How does he know everything?
He just does. It's a gift he's been given.
But you don't believe that, do you? I mean, listen, Sky might, but you don't.
They say I was wrong. They say he still watches us. Soon he'll come back for us, and then we'll pay.
Astral, Adam hurt you and your sisters. He hurt you a lot. If someone wanted to stop him, I can understand why you'd want to protect them. Are you protecting someone?
Why are you doing this to me?
Mind control. Fits with their behaviour, speech patterns, strange sense of reality.
Well, it's not much of a cult. There's only 3 of them.
1 of them or 1,000 of them, it doesn't matter. All it requires is 3 components. Behaviour, thought, emotional control. Quinn, regulating the girl's physical reality. Controlling their environment where they live. what they wear, how they think. See, they can't think for themselves. Quinn's doctrine does the thinking for them. Guilt, fear, keeps them under control. Quinn manipulating them into thinking that he couldn't die.
With the mother as much a victim as the girls.
What if the local police come up?
Not much. There's no sign of her at the Haven and no one saw her leave on Sunday.
You know, I think she must still be there. At the Haven. She has to be there. So it's like the place that Astral and Stoller met.
Grove's probably down there.
Astral's refuge.
What's that?
You all right?
Hate that.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Steve, look. Lavender and rosemary for remembrance. So we can discount the mother as a suspect.
Look, Constable, if you absolutely insist on helping, at least you can get them in the right order.
I bet you're really good at finger painting as well.
Come here. Have a look.
It's a plant.
Yes, it's Calistegia sepium, white bindweed, more commonly known as morning glory.
Oh, it's a weed.
It's a weed, Dee. A weed which was growing all over the gravesite. A weed which can tell me how old the skeleton is.
How?
Well, by comparing vegetation samples taken from the top of the grave to a control sample, taken from the surrounding area. I then measure both root and overall plant growth, and from that I can estimate with a fair degree of certainty that the grave from which the skeleton was dug was no more than 6 months old.
All right.
Comparison and measurement, Dee. Measurement and comparison. Now, I have an autopsy which I have to attend. Thanks for your help.
No worries. Still looks like dirt and weeds to me.
Given the near total absence of tissue, the body's been in the ground for several months.
Yes, no less than 6. I've run my tests.
Oh, good. She's female, comma. Closure of the suture of the skull indicates that the victim was probably in her 40s. Full stop.
Rachel Bridie, the girl's mother, was wearing a necklace like this in the portrait.
Yes. Any idea how she died, Toots?
Yep. There are several depressed fractures of the skull, caused by a blunt instrument delivered with considerable force. And as I found these wood splinters in her hair, I can only speculate that she was killed with a wooden object.
The girls lied to us. Your mother didn't go out on Sunday night, did she?
Oh. He hit her. The piece of wood for the stove. She fell and the fat from the baking dish sprayed all over her. Astral and Bliss tried to stop him. That only made him madder.
And what happened?
Pushed them away. And then he hit my mother again. She was trying to crawl away from him. He kept hitting her till she was still. And then he said that she was dead and that it was our fault.
Why did he hit your mother?
The chicken slipped when she was getting it out of the oven.
It fell on the floor. It was Adam's birthday, 24th of May. He always had a feast to celebrate. He'd kill a chicken. He would choose the one to die, then sit for days, sharpening his axe and staring at it pecking in the yard. Then he would want us to watch while he chopped its head off. He made us wrap Mother's body in a sheet and carry her down the grove.
Her body was still warm. And she was heavy. I could feel her blood soaking into the sheet. I remember looking up at the full moon, praying that she would come back to us. And I could feel her body getting colder with every step. Adam made us swear on our souls under the full moon that we were bound to him in blood forever. We must never tell or he would know we had betrayed his trust.
And you lived under his threat for 6 months without telling anyone.
Some things are too shameful.
What things, Astral?
Without Mother, he said he got lonely at night. And sometimes he would make one of us. Keep him company.
Quinn was dead, so what's to stop the girls telling her their mother was murdered?
Well, after what they've been through, they're hardly going to bounce back into normality just because their abuser's dead. Besides which, Quinn had convinced them that they were responsible.
Steve? It doesn't make sense. He had complete control over those girls. Why would he need to kill them?
Maybe he was starting to believe his own myth. He wanted to set up an empire in the afterlife.
Oh, you'll be believing he's the walking dead if you don't get a grip on this. The girls lied to us. There's a reason for that, Tess.
Yes, which is what
Okay, come on, let's just cut to the chase. Adam Quinn. Did he kill himself, or was he murdered? And there's the possibility that these girls are covering for somebody. This Stoller character, for instance.
Well, he probably wouldn't have enough guts to confront him head on, but it'd be a different story if you found him passed out drunk on the shed floor.
No one can confirm his alibi. He says that he was working in the city on Sunday night.
And he stepped quite nicely into Quinn's role as a leader. Fisk. Has he identified the fibres on the bullet yet?
Look, I still think we should try and break the girl's story.
Oh, right, they haven't been through enough.
Tessa?
Well, Stoller's not the only one who has reason to want Quinn dead.
Dear Astral, may your heart always be open to new ideas. Fondly, Emily.
Is this Emily you, Miss Henderson?
I gave it to Astral a year ago. She loved books. She was never allowed to have any.
So you encouraged her to call you by your first name?
I wanted her to feel free to come to me, if ever she needed me.
And did she ever need you?
I told you I haven't seen much of Astral since she left school. I didn't see any of the girls.
But when they came to the markets on Saturday, she must have seen them then. Did you talk to them, see how they were?
We may have talked once or twice.
About what exactly?
Books. Astra was so creative. She had the fire, the imagination for the dramatic moment. So much talent. I don't think she was allowed to express herself much at home. And in a way, I suppose it was her form of protection.
Protection?
Of escape. You can understand why she'd need one, being brought up in a place like the Haven. But there's still hope, isn't there? Now that he's dead, I'll be able to teach her again. I'll be able to show her all the books I wanted her to read. Make up for everything that's happened to her.
Miss Henderson's feelings for Astral are just as strong as Stoller's. Astral could have told her what was going on.
Maybe. You wanted to see us?
Yes. Thought you might be interested in this. The fibres on the bullet are similar in colour, texture and diameter to the fibres I found in the ashes at the side of the house. Now, can you see that?
What is it?
That's possible blood stain on the fibre adhering to the bullet.
Where'd that fibre come from?
A mattress. Another mattress that was burnt by the side of the house. Now, the bullet passed through the victim's head and this mattress before embedding itself in the floor.
So that mattress was in the shed?
It was indeed.
Astra was so creative. She had the fire, the imagination for the dramatic moment.
The moon. Astral's mother's into all that astronomy stuff.
With the mother as much a victim as the girls.
The bullet passed through this mattress before embedding itself in the floor.
It was Adam's birthday, 24th of May.
I remember looking up at the full moon, praying that she would come back to us.
Hello? Tessa, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Don't you ever sleep?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't have a look at the time. Do you want me to hang up?
No, I'm awake now. Although I was having this great dream. I was living in a palace.
We need to look at the crime scene again.
First thing.
Yeah, now. That mattress, it wasn't just moved as part of the clean-up. That had to be another reason.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
No, I know that it's nothing tangible, but I really do think we need to have another look.
Tessa, I said I was thinking the same thing.
Oh, you're reading my mind now, are you?
Yeah, scary thought, eh?
Well, I'll be there in 15.
Righto.
Give me a hand.
What is it?
Here's one.
Another one here. What What do you reckon?
I'd say a bit over 2 metres.
I know where to find it.
They insisted on coming back. I saw the lights on in the shed and I thought, well, I got my gun. They have to plant the seedlings. It's full moon.
Astral? Bliss? We need to speak to you in the shed.
We'll be punished if we don't plant these tonight.
Yeah, well, I'm sure your mother won't mind this once in the shed. Come on. You too, Mr. Stoller.
I don't know what you expect to achieve doing this.
Matches perfectly.
Yeah, I know this bed used to be in here.
So what?
We found fibres on the bullet that killed Quinn. Forensics proved that those fibres belonged to a mattress, and that mattress was burnt because somebody didn't want us to know that Quinn was killed on a bed, and that bed used to be in here.
Bed, floor, what difference does it make? The man killed himself.
Quinn slept here. He never lived in the house, but somebody moved his things in there to make it look as though he lived there.
The man was a drunk. Right? He probably crashed here when he was too pissed to go inside.
Yeah, that's a plausible argument, and we almost believed it.
What are you talking about?
You've been fooled, Mr. Stoller. Taken in like a lot of us. You see, they planted a seed 6 months ago. 6 months, that's right, isn't it? That's how long it took to convince Stoller that Quinn was a monster. So that when Quinn was murdered, you'd back up their story about how afraid they were of him, and we'd believe that Quinn tried to kill you before shooting himself.
No, it's not true. None of it's true.
If Quinn killed himself, why burn the mattress and move the bed?
Why would we kill him? We were too afraid he'd come back.
Yeah, you probably were afraid of him. Not that he'd come back, but that he'd tell someone you killed your mother. Your mother died on May the 24th. You told us it was a full moon that night. It wasn't a full moon. There was no moon that night.
I must have got it mixed up.
And it wasn't Quinn's birthday either, was it? Was it? It was your mother. She was the Gemini. Come on, she wore her star sign around her neck.
Everything we told you was true.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Except it wasn't Quinn that was the monster, it was your mother. She was the one that abused you. She probably abused Quinn as well. He was forced to sleep out there in conditions worse than you were kept in.
No.
All right then, if Quinn was such a tyrant, why did he keep your mother's portrait up there?
You always go too far. You always have to show off Mitch and the moon.
Sky, who was it that killed her? Was it you? Was it Bliss or Astral?
I couldn't move. I wanted to, but I couldn't. Leave her alone. She didn't do anything.
Astral, we're in this together, we swore.
It's all my fault. I dropped the baking dish. I ruined Mother's birthday dinner.
Mother started to hit Sky. We thought she was going to kill her.
So I picked up a piece of firewood and I hit her. She was crawling on the ground and I hit her again and again.
Well, and Adam saw you?
When he came to live with us, we thought he'd help us. But he didn't do anything. And Mother just got worse. I'm glad she's dead. I'm glad he's dead.
We've almost finished, Astral. There's just one more thing. After you killed your mother, you kept visiting her grave.
I put the flowers there. She would have expected that. She said she'd never leave us. I wanted to make sure she was really dead.
Why did you kill Adam?
It was his time.
Adam Quinn saw them kill their mother. And with his drinking, they'd figured he'd tell somebody.
So they killed him?
Astral pulled the trigger.
She had a sister's caner, so we'd see the scars and think it was Quinn. She's one tough little nut.
Well, I suppose you'd have to be to survive that environment, under the influence of a mother like that.
Doesn't excuse murder, though, sir.
Yeah, well, we know what they went through.
Well, it's not for us to decide one way or the other, is it? We just solve homicide. Mind you, it is unusual for followers to turn against their controller like that.